The sky was a canvas of fire. From my position on the USS Montpelier's starboard anti-aircraft battery, I could see the tracer bullets crisscrossing the heavens like some mad celestial fireworks display. Below me, the calm turquoise waters of Tanapak Harbor had turned into a cauldron of steel and death as Japanese Zeros screamed down upon our fleet. My hands trembled on the controls of my 40mm Bofors gun, the knuckles white against the metal. Hold your fire. Wait for my command. Lieutenant Commander Thompson's voice crackled over the intercom, but I could barely hear him over the cacophony of battle. Then came the distinctive whine of an aircraft diving directly toward us. Fire! Thompson's command cut through the chaos. My gun crew responded instantly, the Bofors roaring to life, spitting 40mm shells at the incoming kamikaze. I saw the impact, direct hits to the fuselage and wings, but the pilot was determined. In that split second before impact, I made eye contact with the Japanese pilot, his face a mask of terrifying resolve. Then came the explosion, the shrapnel tearing through the air around us, the smell of aviation fuel and death filling my nostrils. This was Saipan, June 1944, and hell had truly come to the Pacific. June 1st, 1944, I'm writing this by the dim light of my bunk after another day at sea. The USS Montpelier has been at sea for weeks now, steaming toward some unknown destination in the Pacific. The crew is buzzing with rumors. We're heading for the Marianas Islands, they say. The word is we're going to take Saipan. I've been aboard this Cleveland-class light cruiser for 6 months now, and I've seen action before, but nothing like what the old-timers are whispering about. Today, I was assigned to the starboard anti-aircraft battery. My Bofors gun is my responsibility now, along with 3 other sailors. I'm scared, of course, but there's also a strange excitement. This is why we enlisted, isn't it? To fight the Japanese to end this war. But when I see the pictures of what war dosed men, well, that's when the fear comes back. The Montpelier is a beautiful ship. She's 610 feet long with a top speed of 32 knots. We've got 12 6-inch guns and 4 turrets, plus a bunch of 5-inch dual-purpose guns, and all these smaller anti-aircraft weapons. The crew is about 1,000 strong, and we've been together long enough to feel like a family. Captain Hepburn is a good leader, strict but fair. He's got us running drills constantly, preparing for whatever comes next. June 12, 1944, we've been joined by the rest of Task Group 58.2. The flagship is the USS Enterprise, with her air group. Alongside us are the USS San Juan, USS Birmingham, and USS Mobile Bay. There are also a dozen destroyers screening us. The fleet stretches as far as the eye can see. It's an inspiring sight, but also terrifying. So many targets for the Japanese. The word is official now. We're heading for Saipan. The invasion is set for June 15th. The entire Fifth Fleet is involved, with battleships like the USS Indiana and USS Washington providing heavy support. It's going to be the largest amphibious operation since D-Day, they say. I've been thinking about home. My sister Margaret writes that things are getting better back in Boston. The war production is booming, and everyone's doing their part. I miss the smell of my mother's Sunday roast, the sound of the Red Sox game on the radio, walking down Commonwealth Avenue on a crisp fall day. Sometimes I wonder if I'll ever see those things again. June 14, 1944, today, we conducted final battle preparations. All watertight doors are sealed. Ammunition is ready, and damage control teams are at their stations. The tension aboard is palpable. You can feel it in the way people move, in the silence in the mess hall, in the determined look in every sailor's eyes. Captain Hepburn addressed the crew this morning. Men, he said, his voice steady, we're heading into harm's way. The Japanese will fight hard for Saipan. They've had time to build strong defenses. But we have the finest navy in the world, and we will prevail. Remember your training, look out for each other, and do your duty. Godspeed to all of you. After his speech, The crew gave him 3 rousing cheers. I felt a surge of pride. This is what we're here for. June 15, 1944, D-Day for Saipan. We're steaming off the western coast of the island. Our guns trained on the beach. The sky is filled with American aircraft, Hellcats, Avengers, Corsairs, all heading for the target. The air hums with the sound of engines. At 0545, the bombardment began. Our 6-inch guns opened up first, followed by the battleship's 16-inchers. The beach disappeared in a cloud of smoke and fire. We're firing at Japanese positions, trying to soften them up for the Marines who will go ashore at 0900. I'm at my Bofors station, scanning the skies. The Japanese have been sending up reconnaissance planes all morning, but so far no serious air attacks. The gunnery officer keeps reminding us to stay alert. They'll come when we least expect it, he says. At 0845, the first wave of landing craft approaches the beach. The Marines are going over the side into their Higgins boats. I can see them crouching down, rifles ready. Some are praying, others are joking. They're brave men, every one of them. At 0900, the first Marines hit the beach. The Japanese are putting up fierce resistance. We can see the tracers from their machine guns, the flashes from their mortars. Our guns shift targets, pounding the Japanese positions as the Marines advance. Suddenly, the air raid sirens wail. Incoming aircraft. The voice booms over the loudspeaker. I scramble to my Bofors, my heart pounding. The first wave of Japanese planes appears, Zeros and Valdive bombers. Our anti-aircraft batteries open up, creating a wall of fire. I see one Zero go down in a ball of flame, but others get through. They drop their bombs near the landing craft. I see one Higgins boat hit directly, men and debris thrown into the air. The sight makes me sick. We keep firing, our Bofors spitting 40mm shells at the incoming planes. The sky is a nightmare of explosions and tracer fire. I see a Valdive bomber heading straight for our ship. Brace for impact, someone yells. The plane hits the water just off our bow, the shockwave rocking the Montpelier. Water crashes over the deck, but we're still afloat. The air attack lasts for about 20 minutes. When it's over, we count our losses. 1 sailor killed, 3 wounded. The ship is damaged, but still operational. The beachhead is established, but the fighting is fierce. The Japanese are fighting from caves and pillboxes, making the Marines' advance slow and costly. June 16, 1944, last night was the longest of my life after the air attack. We kept our guns manned all night, expecting another raid at 0200. We were called to general quarters again this time. It was Japanese naval forces. Cruisers and destroyers trying to disrupt our landing. Our task group engaged the enemy in what would become known as the Battle of the Philippine Sea. The USS South Dakota took a hit from a Japanese torpedo, but she stayed in the fight. Our 6-inch guns poured fire into the enemy's ships. I could see the flashes from their guns, the splashes from their shells near us. It was terrifying, but also exhilarating to be in the middle of such a naval battle. By dawn, the Japanese had withdrawn. We had sunk 2 destroyers and damaged a cruiser. Our losses were minimal, but the South Dakota needed repairs. The Montpelier was unscathed, but we were all exhausted. Today, we're providing naval gunfire support for the Marines on the beach. We can see the fighting from our position, Marines advancing, Japanese retreating into the interior of the island. The air is thick with the smell of cordite and death. I wrote to my family today. I told them I was fine, that we were conducting operations in the Pacific. I can't tell them about the battle, about the things I've seen. Some things are too horrible to put in a letter. June 20th, 1944, the fighting on Saipan is getting fiercer. The Japanese are using caves and bunkers to their advantage, making the Marines' advance slow and costly. We're providing naval gunfire support, pounding the Japanese positions as the Marines advance today. We were attacked by kamikaze again. These pilots are fanatics. They'll fly their planes right into our ships if they can. My Bofors crew shot down 1-0 before it could reach us. But another got through. It crashed into the USS Birmingham, causing serious damage and killing 35 sailors. I saw the explosion. The black smoke rising into the sky. It was a sight I won't soon forget. We've been at sea for weeks now, and the tension is shedding to everyone. The crew is on edge, jumping at every sound, expecting an attack at any moment. I try to stay busy, to keep my mind occupied, but it's hard. At night, I lie in my bunk, thinking about home, about what might happen to me. June 25, 1944, the Japanese are making their last stand on Saipan. They've retreated to the northern part of the island, and the fighting is brutal. We're still providing naval gunfire support, but the Marines are facing fierce resistance. Today, we witnessed something terrible. The Japanese launched a banzai charge, hundreds of soldiers screaming as they charged the American lines. Our Marines mowed them down, but not before many Americans were killed and wounded. It was a horrifying sight, a glimpse into the fanaticism that drives our enemy. We've been hearing reports of mass Japanese suicides. Civilians and soldiers are jumping from cliffs rather than surrender to the Americans. It's a tragic end to a brutal battle. July 7, 1944, Saipan is finally ours. The last organized Japanese resistance ended yesterday when General Sato, the Japanese commander, committed suicide along with his staff. The island is secure. But the cost has been high. Over 3,000 Americans killed and more than 13,000 wounded. Japanese losses were even heavier, over 29,000 killed, with only a few thousand taken prisoner. The Montpelier has been at sea for almost 2 months now. We're heading back to Pearl Harbor for repairs and rest. The crew is exhausted, but there's a sense of pride in what we've accomplished. Saipan was a tough battle, but we prevailed. I've been thinking a lot about what I've seen. The death, the destruction, the waste of human life. Sometimes I wonder if it's all worth it. Then I think about the atrocities committed by the Japanese, the of Nanking, the treatment of prisoners of war, and I know we have to stop them. We have to end this war, no matter the cost. July 15, 1944, we're back at Pearl Harbor. The Montpelier is in dry dock for repairs. The crew is getting some much-needed rest and recreation. I've been exploring the island, visiting the memorials to the attack on Pearl Harbor. It's a reminder of why we're here, why we fight. Today, I went to a USO show. Bob Hope was there, performing for the troops. It was good to laugh, to forget about the war for a little while. But as I sat there, watching the show, I couldn't help but think about my friends who didn't make it back from Saipan. I think about the young Marine I saw on the beach, his legs blown off, crawling toward the water. I think about the Japanese pilot I made eye with just before his plane crashed into our ship. These images charm me, and I don't know if I'll ever be able to forget them. July 20th, 1944, the word is we're heading back to action. Soon the next target is Guam. Just south of Saipan, the crew is already preparing, running drills, checking equipment. There's a sense of resignation among the men. We know what's coming, and we're ready for it. I've been thinking about my journal lately. I know it's against regulations to keep a diary, but I need to write these things down, to record what I'm seeing, what I'm feeling. No one will read this except me, but that's okay. It's my way of coping with the horror of war. Sometimes I wonder if I'll make it through the next battle, if I'll see home again, if I'll ever be able to put these memories behind me. I don't have the answers, but I know I have to keep going, to do my duty, to fight for the men next to me, for my country, for a future without war. August 10th, 1944, Guam is ours. The battle was shorter than Saipan, but just as brutal. The Japanese put up fierce resistance, using the same tactics they used on Saipan: caves, bunkers, banzai charges, but this time we were better prepared, and the Marines pushed through more quickly. I'm writing this from the deck of the Montpelier, anchored at Pearl Harbor. The crew is resting, but we know it's only temporary. The war continues, and will be called upon again. I've been thinking a lot about Saipan lately, about the men I served with, the ones who didn't come back. I think about the young sailor from Iowa who was killed in the kamikaze attack on the Birmingham. I think about the gunner's mate who took shrapnel in his leg but kept fighting. These men were heroes, every one of them, but they'll never get the recognition they deserve. Sometimes I feel guilty for being alive while so many others have died. I try to honor their memory by doing my job, by being the best sailor I can be. But it's not enough. I wish there was more I could do, more I could say. September 1st, 1944. We're steaming toward the Philippines now. The word is we're going to invade Lake Gulf. The entire fleet is mobilizing, including the battleships that just joined us from Pearl Harbor. It's an awesome sight, but also terrifying. The Japanese know we're coming, and they're preparing for us. I've been having nightmares lately. Dreams of Saipan, of the kamikaze attacks, of the banzai charges. I wake up in a cold sweat, my heart pounding. I try to tell myself it's just dreams, but I know they're memories, memories that will stay with me forever. I've been thinking about what comes after the war. I think about going back to Boston, about finishing college, about getting married, about having a family. These dreams keep me going, give me something to look forward to. But I also know that the war has changed me, that I'll never be the same person I was before I enlisted. October 20th, 1944, the invasion of Leyte has begun. We're providing naval gunfire support. As the Marines hit the beaches, the Japanese are putting up fierce resistance. But we're pushing them back. My Bofors crew has been busy, shooting down Japanese planes that try to attack our ships today. We were attacked by a new kind of weapon. The kamikaze. These pilots are fanatics, willing to die for their emperor. We shot down several, but one got through and crashed into the USS St. Lo, an escort carrier. The ship sank in minutes, with the loss of 100 crewmen. It was a devastating loss, a reminder of the price we're paying for victory. I've been thinking a lot about the Japanese pilots who fly these suicide missions. What drives them to do such a thing? Is it patriotism? Fanaticism? Desperation? I don't know, but I do know that they're formidable enemies, willing to die to stop us. October 25th, 1944. Today, we engaged the main Japanese fleet in the Battle of Lake Gulf. It was the largest naval battle of the war, with hundreds of ships involved. Our task group took on Japanese battleships and cruisers, our 6-inch guns pouring fire into the enemy ships. I was at my Bofors station, scanning Theskis for enemy aircraft. Suddenly, the lookout spotted something unusual: Japanese battleships steaming directly toward us. Battle stations. Battle stations. The alarm blared. The entire crew scrambled to their positions, the ship coming alive with activity. The battle was intense, with shells splashing all around us. I could see the flashes from the Japanese guns, the explosions as their shells hit near us. We fired back with everything we had, our 6-inch guns pounding the enemy ships. I saw one Japanese cruiser take a direct hit, listing heavily to one side. The battle lasted for hours, with neither side gaining a clear advantage. Finally, the Japanese withdrew, having failed to stop our invasion of Leyte. We had sunk several Japanese ships, including a battleship and 2 cruisers, but we had also taken losses. The USS Princeton was sunk by a Japanese aircraft, with the loss of 200 crewmen. As I stood on deck, watching the smoke rise from the burning Princeton, I couldn't help but think about the cost of this war. So many lives lost, so much destruction. Sometimes I wonder if it will ever end, if we'll ever see peace. November 24th, 1944. We've been at sea for weeks now, steaming toward the next target, Mindoro in the Philippines. The crew is exhausted, but we know we have to keep going. The war isn't over yet, and there's more fighting ahead. I've been thinking a lot about home lately. My sister Margaret writes that things are getting better back in Boston. The war is turning in our favor, and people are starting to think about the future. I miss the simple things, the smell of my mother's cooking, the sound of the Red Sox game on the radio, walking down Commonwealth Avenue on a crisp fall day. Sometimes I wonder if I'll ever see those things again. I've also been thinking about what comes after the war. I think about going back to college, about becoming a teacher, about getting married, about having a family. These dreams keep me going, give me something to look forward to. But I also know that the war has changed me, that I'll never be the same person I was before I enlisted. December 15, 1944, Mindoro is ours. The battle was shorter than expected. With the Japanese putting up only light resistance, we're now providing naval gunfire support for the troops on the island. Preparing for the next phase of the Philippines campaign, I've been having nightmares again. Dreams of the battles I've fought, the men I've lost, the things I've seen. I wake up in a cold sweat, my heart pounding. I try to tell myself it's just dreams, but I know they're memories, memories that will stay with me forever. Sometimes I feel guilty for being alive while so many others have died. I try to honor their memory by doing my job, by being the best sailor I can be. But it's not enough. I wish there was more I could do, more I could say. January 6, 1945, we're steaming toward Lingayen Gulf in the Philippines. Preparing for the next invasion, the entire fleet is mobilizing, including battleships, carriers, and countless support ships. It's an awesome sight, but also terrifying. The Japanese know we're coming, and they're preparing for us. I've been thinking a lot about what comes after the war. I think about going back to Boston, about finishing college, about getting married, about having a family. These dreams keep me going, give me something to look forward to. But I also know that the war has changed me, that I'll never be the same person I was before I enlisted. Today, I saw something that reminded me of home, a flock of birds flying in formation, just like the ones I used to see in Boston Common. It was a small thing, but it made me smile. For a moment, I wasn't a sailor on a warship, but just a young man thinking about home. January 9, 1945, the invasion of Lingayen has begun. We're providing naval gunfire support. As the troops hit the beaches, the Japanese are putting up fierce resistance. But we're pushing them back. My Bofors crew has been busy, shooting down Japanese planes that try to attack our ships. Today, we were attacked by a large force of kamikaze. There must have been 50 planes, all heading for our fleet. Our anti-aircraft batteries opened up, creating a wall of fire. I saw several planes go down in balls of flame, but others got through. One crashed into the USS Columbia, causing serious damage. Another hit the USS Denver, killing 15 sailors. It was a devastating attack, a reminder of the price we're paying for victory. I've been thinking a lot about the Japanese pilots who fly these suicide missions. What drives them to do such a thing? Is it patriotism? Fanaticism? Desperation? I don't know, but I do know that they're formidable enemies, willing to die to stop us. February 3, 1945, Manila is ours. The battle was brutal. With the Japanese putting up fierce resistance in the city streets, we provided naval gunfire support. Pounding Japanese positions as the Marines advanced, the city was heavily damaged, with many buildings destroyed. But it's finally free from Japanese control. I've been thinking a lot about what we've accomplished here in the Philippines. We've taken island after island, pushing the Japanese back, but the cost has been high. So many lives lost, so much destruction. Sometimes I wonder if it's all worth it, if we'll ever see peace. I've also been thinking about the Japanese soldiers we've faced. They're brave men, willing to die for their country. I respect their courage, even as I fight against them. War is a terrible thing, pitting brave men against each other for reasons they may not even understand. March 1, 1945, we're steaming toward Okinawa now. Preparing for the next invasion, the entire fleet is mobilizing, including battleships, carriers, and countless support ships. It's an awesome sight, but also terrifying. The Japanese know we're coming, and they're preparing for us. I've been thinking a lot about what comes after the war. I think about going back to Boston, about finishing college, about getting married, about having a family. These dreams keep me going, give me something to look forward to. But I also know that the war has changed me, that I'll never be the same person I was before I enlisted. Today, I saw something that reminded me of home, a sunset over the ocean, the colors of the sky reflected in the water. It was a beautiful sight, but it also made me sad. For a moment, I wasn't a sailor on a warship, but just a young man thinking about home. April 1st, 1945, the invasion of Okinawa has begun. We're providing naval gunfire support. As the troops hit the beaches, the Japanese are putting up fierce resistance, but we're pushing them back. My Bofors crew has been busy, shooting down Japanese planes that try to attack our ships. Today, we were attacked by the largest force of kamikaze we've ever faced. There must have been hundreds of planes, all heading for our fleet. Our anti-aircraft batteries opened up, creating a wall of fire. I saw dozens of planes go down in balls of flame, but others got through. Several ships were hit, including the USS Hancock, which was badly damaged and had to be withdrawn from the battle. It was a terrifying sight, watching those planes come at us, knowing that some would get through, that men would die. I kept firing my Bofors, trying to bring down as many as I could, but it was like trying to stop a tide with a broom. April 12, 1945, today, we heard the news. President Roosevelt has died. The entire crew was stunned. He's been our leader throughout this war, and his death is a blow to us all. We held a memorial service on deck, and there wasn't a dry eye among us. I've been thinking a lot about what comes next. The war isn't over yet, and there's more fighting ahead, but with FDR gone, I wonder what the future holds. Will the new president be able to see us through to victory? Only time will tell. June 22, 1945, Okinawa is ours. The battle was the toughest we've faced yet, with the Japanese putting up fierce resistance. We provided naval gunfire support, pounding Japanese positions as the Marines advanced. The island was heavily damaged, with many buildings destroyed, but it's finally free from Japanese control. I've been thinking a lot about what we've accomplished here in the Pacific. We've taken island after island, pushing the Japanese back. But the cost has been high, so many lives lost, so much destruction. Sometimes I wonder if it's all worth it, if we'll ever see peace. I've also been thinking about the Japanese soldiers we faced. They're brave men, willing to die for their country. I respect their courage, even as I fight against them. War is a terrible thing, pitting brave men against each other for reasons they may not even understand. August 6, 1945, today, we heard the news. An atomic bomb has been dropped on Hiroshima. The entire crew was stunned. We've been hearing rumors about a new weapon, but I never imagined anything like this. The destruction is unimaginable, with tens of thousands killed instantly. I've been thinking a lot about what this means. Will this end the war? Will Japan surrender? Only time will tell, but I can't help but think about the civilians who died in the blast. They were just ordinary people, going about their lives when this terrible weapon was unleashed upon them. August 15, 1945, today, we heard the news. Japan has surrendered. The war is over. The entire crew erupted in cheers, with men hugging each other, crying, laughing. It's been a long time coming, but it's finally here. I've been thinking a lot about what comes next. I'll be going home soon, back to Boston, back to a normal life, but I know that the war has changed me, that I'll never be the same person I was before I enlisted. The things I've seen, the things I've done, they'll stay with me forever, but I'm also looking forward to the future. I want to finish college, become a teacher, get married, have a family. These are the dreams that kept me going, that gave me something to look forward to during the darkest days of the war. Today, as I stand on the deck of the Montpelier, watching the sunset over the Pacific, I can't help but feel a sense of peace. The war is over, and I'm going home. But I'll never forget the men I served with, the ones who didn't come back, the things I saw. They're a part of me now, a part of who I am. And as I close this journal, I know that I'll carry these memories with me for the rest of my life. They're a reminder of the cost of victory, of the price we paid for peace. And they're a reminder of the brave men who fought and died so that others could live in a better world.